I wanted to do a part 2 video on my Wesco try-on boots, in case it helps anybody with the process of what they're going to go through with theirs. I don't know if this is normal. I've never seen it, and in all my boot groups, I have never heard it discussed. So maybe I'm providing a PSA that is not helpful to anybody. Maybe because I was talking to the GM so closely, and maybe because these are a rebuild and resize, which wouldn't be so common. But we decided that most of the way through the process here that he would send them out without a sole, without a heel, without a sole, without anything, just lasted and tacked down, so that I could try them on and see how they fit and make sure that we were on the right track before buttoning everything up. So I'm going to take you to the floor here, because that's where boots have to be tried on. There we go. So first thing that I didn't realize, I tried them on, and I knew that there wasn't a heel there, but wasn't sure that that would make a big difference with the way the boot actually fit. So I tried them on, and I walked around a whole bunch, walked around across the house, back and forth, maybe about 100 feet, and they mostly felt comfortable. They were tight here, but that's actually okay, and maybe even good, because this area where all the stitching is, the side of the insole, actually stretches and gives more than the rest of the boot. So this is an area that will stretch a little bit. So it was tight there, but I wasn't worried about it. The fit, it felt a little bit wide, mostly at the ball and the front, but I couldn't decide whether it was enough to really be concerned about. And I realized that I'm walking around without a heel, so I'm not walking around like normal. So I wondered how much of a difference it would make. My first attempt was to pick up some duct tape and stand on the duct tape here, which would mimic a heel, and my feet were pushed pretty far up into the front. Started feeling a little bit cramped. Started feeling cramped, not just a little bit. And this was after talking to Chris. We realized that I am doing a +1 on the heel, which is 2 inches, which is what this duct tape is. But I hadn't taken into account that the sole isn't up here in the front either. So I actually had to subtract that. So the vibram sole, the V100 sole, is going to be a 1/2 inch here. So take a 1/2 inch away from the 2 inch, and we're actually at 1.5, which is what this 1x3 happens to be. So I pulled this 1x3 and decided to stand on it to do the sizing, and it did feel differently than the duct tape, and it felt differently than walking without. Obviously I can't walk around with a 1x3 attached to my foot, so I tried try to mimic some walking movements on it as much as I could. And what I decided was that it was tight. It was tight here, not quite as tight, I guess surprisingly, but again, I wasn't concerned about that. But my toes were cramped. So I measured, and when I was standing up, I put my thumb down, or my finger down, to see where my toe was actually ending, and saw where that was, and decided that the most accurate way to describe it to them would be to send a picture. And what I did that I thought would help them the most was actually push down the leather back here out of my way, and I stood on the boot like this so that my foot was so my foot was sitting on top of it exactly where I thought that it was when it was underneath it, so that he could actually see rather than guess whether my thumb was in the right place of where my toe was. I decided that that might be more accurate since I'm not there for him to feel where my toe was. So what we decided is that he decided that the width here was fine, that the width of the boot was fine, and even that the length was okay, but that it was really a toe area problem they were thinking about. Because I told him, I was like, I like to have extra room to wiggle my toes, especially when I'm riding the bike and I've got my boots up on the highway pegs and trying to stay comfortable and loose. I like to wiggle my toes around a little bit, feel a little bit free. I don't like a really tight fit because it's really only the ankle area here where this style of boot is really holding your foot. So what he is doing, the last that these are built on, he's going to take some strips of leather and he's going to build out the toe, because we agreed that the insole and the arch, the instep, the arch, that was all in the right place. So we didn't want to go up a half size, which I kind of wondered if a half size is right, or to go up a width, which of course if you went up a half a size, the width would go up on its own. But we decided that this fit was fine and it was a toe problem. So he's going to take the last that it's built on and he's going to put some leather on that last so that it's on the top area around the toes, and so that it's going around the outside area of the toes. So the boot from here back will stay the same, but we're going to build out the toe and we're going to build up the toe so that I've got some more wiggle room inside, and I believe that is going to dial this boot in perfectly. And I mean, I am really excited too, because I own some other custom footwear and I've got some boots that fit me incredibly by going through that process. But bumping out the actual toe area itself and giving me just room in that toe area, I'm really excited. This might end up being my favorite pair of boots ever. They'll keep this on file. So next thing I'm ready for a new pair of boots, if I like these as much as I'm thinking I am right now, this might be the end all be all for the rest of my life. Just call them up and order different hides and colors and whatnot. I will update you guys when they come back and let you know if the process ended up as well as I think it will. Take care.